Putin turns on Erdogan as Trump's latest move raises fears of a wider Russia-NATO confrontation. Russia fumes as the US opens a new weapons pipeline to Ukraine through Turkey. Trump moves ahead with Turkey's arms transfer, with ATACMS missiles reportedly set to reach Kyiv. Turkey's ATACMS stockpile could end up in Zelensky's hands, with 70 missiles reportedly in the proposed package. M270 launchers could also be on the way, with Turkey reportedly considering 12 US-made systems. Russia warns of a new Pandora's box as Moscow slams Turkey over possible transfer of cluster shells. The US has moved to authorize Turkey's transfer of US-made weapons and missiles to Ukraine, according to RT. The proposed package reportedly includes 70 ATACMS missiles and 12 M270 rocket launchers for Ukraine. Turkey's stocks also reportedly include more than 2,500 M26 rockets equipped with cluster warheads. The package includes 47,000 cluster artillery shells and is valued at around $280 million, according to reports. The US State Department submitted the proposed weapons transfer to Congress on August 6 for approval. However, Russia has warned that the transfer could damage Moscow's relations with both Washington and Ankara. A Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said the proposed deal would further undermine mutual trust between the countries, RT reported. Maria Zakharova questioned why the US and Turkey were opening what she called another Pandora's box. Maria Zakharova said, and I quote, "Attempts to use peacemaking rhetoric while simultaneously supplying weapons to Ukrainian Nazis inevitably undermine mutual trust. The issue is not only the casualties and destruction that the authorities in Kyiv seek to increase, but also the serious damage to our bilateral relations with Washington and Ankara." Unquote. Russia also questioned how and when the American-made weapons would ultimately reach Ukraine if the proposed transfer receives approval. Moscow had previously warned that Western long-range weapons were deepening NATO's role in the Ukraine war and increasing escalation risks. The European Union is set to provide Ukraine with €1.5 billion in 2026 to procure medium and long-range missiles for its armed forces. The funding will come through the European Union's defense loan program, designed to strengthen Ukraine's military capabilities during the ongoing war. The new missiles are expected to support Ukraine's ability to carry out long-range strikes against Russian military infrastructure and strategic targets. The weapons are reportedly set to be produced through a joint venture between Ukraine and an unnamed European Union member state. Officials have not yet disclosed whether the missiles being developed will be cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, or a combination of both. Ukraine could receive as much as €40 billion from the European Union's €90 billion defense loan program by the end of 2026 if approved. Poland is now considering sending additional Patriot missile systems and interceptors to Ukraine, according to a report by the Kyiv Independent. The move comes after a suspected Russian missile reportedly entered Polish territory during a large-scale Russian attack on Ukraine on July 30th. Polish authorities scrambled F-16 fighter jets after an unidentified aerial object crossed into the country's airspace during the Russian missile barrage. Prime Minister Donald Tusk later said the object was most likely a Russian Kh-101 cruise missile that had inadvertently strayed into Polish territory. Tusk also said Warsaw would review the possibility of providing additional military support to Ukraine following the latest cross-border security incident.
I also spoke yesterday, as you know, coincidentally in Lublin with President Zelensky about what is happening in the air over Ukraine and what might happen in Poland. And we both declared a readiness for full cooperation in all possible coalitions, teaming over the safe skies above us and above Ukraine. I know that today it may not be very popular to speak well of Ukraine, but I know, and this knowledge is much more important, that the security of Poland depends directly and straightforwardly on the effective actions of the Ukrainian military, also in the air. If the Ukrainians had much more of what they are constantly asking for, perhaps that ballistic missile would not have flown into Poland. I have no reason to be an advocate for Ukraine in matters of patriots. The only what is on my mind and heart is how to best secure Poland. Ukraine is shooting at them. Ukraine is really eliminating Russian targets because it is at war with Russia, and it is in our interest to support them in these matters, keeping in mind what we obviously need in a way that enhances our security. So after this event, paradoxically, I will, together with the Prime Minister, consider how to provide further assistance as quickly as possible for Ukraine, also with additional Patriots if needed, because our intention is for Ukraine not to lose this war. After my conversation with Zelensky, the matter is quite evident. The next 100 days could decide the outcome of this war. It's 50-50. There are many mechanisms in the hands of the President of the United States and a few other people. Decisions, for example by Elon Musk regarding Starlinks and other systems, are of great significance. So, in a sense, it happens somewhat outside of politics as well.
Patriot air defense systems have remained one of Ukraine's most critical tools for protecting its skies against repeated Russian missile and drone attacks. However, interceptor missile stocks are reportedly shrinking as U.S. defense manufacturers struggle to keep pace with growing global demand. President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly urged Ukraine's international partners to supply additional Patriot systems, along with more interceptor missiles.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.